Hey, welcome to the Love Shack. It's a little old place where we get together, explore fresh perspectives, and eavesdrop on juicy conversations and uncover the mysteries that nobody talks about but absolutely influences our relationships. If you're struggling with your special someone right now, this show is dedicated to you.
Absolutely. In today's episode number 63, we're going to celebrate the holiday season and explore how we keep the holiday warm and fuzzies all year long, not just on, Christmas, if you will. Yeah, we are Tom and Stacey Bartley, hosts of Love Shack Live, and thank you so much for being with us wherever you are, wherever you're listening. We appreciate you.
We're going to talk about some easy ways to create the feelings of the holiday magic all year long. It is deemed to be the most wonderful time of the year. And today inside the Love Shack, we're going to celebrate the Christmas season. Tom and I, if you're listening to us auditorily, you'll see that if you watch the YouTube channel, we have some festive holiday hat wear on in the spirit of the day. And we're going to explore what makes Christmas so memorable for us. We're going to share some delightful Christmas stories from our friends and family and provide you with some easy ways that you too can create the feelings that we experience throughout the holidays all year round without having to listen to Bing Crosby 24/7.
Oh, sheesh, that could be quite a... Yes, absolutely. So again, thank you for being with us. Well, no, but maybe listen 24/7 all year long might be a little bit for some of us, if you will. So you know what? As you know, grab your favorite beverage, grab your favorite place to sit or enjoy us. Maybe you have a standing desk, and we will be right back.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
I met Stacey and Tom about 2 years ago. I was at a point in my relationship where I was ready to file for divorce. Not that I wanted to, but I just felt hopeless and helpless. I'd been through other counseling and coaching and didn't find any success. With Stacey and Tom's methods, I was able to eliminate insecurities, set boundaries, plant my flag, eliminate rabbit holing. I was separated from my wife for a year, and I have since moved back home. For the last 6 months now. I still refer back to a lot of the teaching that Stacey and Tom provided, and it's helped me. It's well worth it.
Learn the simple 3-step system to rescue your struggling relationship by registering for Stacey's brand new free workshop. Reserve your seat by going to staceybartley.com/workshop.
Hi, I'm Nathan Mumm, host of Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm on KKNW. Tech Time Radio's live show is Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. And you can always check us on the web at techtimeradio.com. Our segmented stylized radio gives you the breaking news before it hits mainstream media. Join myself and Mike Day as we'll make you laugh.
That's good. So, Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit. And learning something new in technology. Join us Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m. and Thursdays from 6 to 7 a.m. The technology show for the everyday common person.
Are you ready to venture off the beaten path, expand your mind, raise your consciousness, and open your heart? Allow me to entice you with interviews with amazing souls from around the world. Indulge in history, mystery, science, and spirituality. There's weekly skin tips, live esoteric readings, and answers to life's burning questions. So come join me, Sakura, your host, intuitive medium and spiritual hypnotherapist, each Wednesday at 2 to 3 p.m. right here on KKNW for Love from the Hip.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/1150KKNW.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 63 Inside the Love Shack. We are your hosts, Tom and Stacey Bartley. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever holiday is special to you. We acknowledge that. And again, thank you for being here. We're going to bring in some holiday cheer, but not just on this special day or time of year. Our intention is to how we could create it more frequently with a recipe.
The holidays are a time of happiness, joy, and warmth. But have you ever wondered, how do we experience that special feeling throughout the year and not just in December?
Yes, I have.
For those, you have?
I have.
Okay. Well, for those of them, our listeners that are like us, right? The holiday season is too short. That's what we think, right?
Yes.
And it's not too late to make this the time of year that lingers into our lives going forward into 2022. And why do we need to have an excuse in order to feel this magical way anyway. And what makes the holidays feel so special? Those are some of the questions that we're going to dive into today. We want to give you the tools that you need to know how to keep your spirits up and find a little bit of holiday magic throughout the whole year, not just this time of year. It seems that we could all use some warm and fuzzies right now with all the challenges that the year has thrown at us.
Absolutely. And even as we speak, current events may be causing you to change your plans that you just had maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago and keep you away from your loved ones. So we will inspire you with some new traditions as well. It's time to experience the happiness and joy that the holidays can bring, again, more than just this, day or very small period of the year.
Yeah. And we do want to celebrate this very special moment, but here's where it begins. I think we're at the perfect time to explore this, right? To set us up for 2022. And the step one is we need to identify some of the many things that bring us joy from family traditions, right? What are they for you? Are they the traditions? Are they the decorations? Are they the music, the lights, the food, gathering with our special people? And to help us explore our memories, we're going to hear from some of our few wonderful listeners, as well as family and friends, as they help us remember our holidays by them sharing some of their holiday memories with us in the hopes that these will jog your memory and bring up some of those memorable moments and sensations for us all. So, Eric, if you would please cue Christmas clip number 1. This is where we are going to begin the exploration of our own Christmas memories. And as you listen to this share, start thinking about what comes up for you enjoying the holidays. Like, what is it that makes them special for you? And as you're going to find as human beings, we all have our special mix or special something that makes the holiday special for us.
Hi, my name is Brooke. I'm Tom and Stacy's daughter, and I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about my favorite Christmas memory. It's when I was a kid. We lived on a street in California that was really famous for Christmas decorations and lights. All the houses participated. It still is. It's still going on. And there's a long line to get in the street even today. When we lived there, our house was a Bug's Life. Every family got assigned a Disney movie and then painted a big plywood cutout of the characters. Ours was a Bug's Life. And I just remember it being so magical to me that I was lucky enough to live on a street where every single family, pretty much, all the families that celebrated Christmas, where every single family felt like the cheer and joy in their hearts to participate in making Christmas magical, not only for the people that lived on the street, but for all the people who came to drive down our street. And it was a long street, and it probably was really annoying to the parents because it caused traffic, and it was hard to get in and out of the driveways because there were so many cars driving down our streets. But of course, me as a kid, I never even thought about that. But me and my brother, and a couple of other neighborhood kids had a hot chocolate stand, and everyone would stop and get some. And we just had really wonderful relationships with all the kids in the neighborhood, and we had parties and we celebrated New Year's together. And those memories are some of my warmest and most magical. I remember going to sleep as a kid and seeing the lights peeking through the curtains in my bedroom and just truly feeling the magic of Christmas and being so excited to get out there every single weekend and sell the hot chocolate. And I just feel really lucky that I have those memories, and I hope that I get to make those memories for my future children just as magical as they were for me.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening to our voices, there is a beautiful picture with beautiful lights, Christmas sparklies, that kind of thing that just kind of captures the essence of that share from Brooke. And what is it for you as we start to drive into these magical moments of the season? Is it the lights? What is it that makes this magical experience? Is it the food? Is it the parties? Brooke highlighted many things in her share that it could be for you personally as she shared what it was for her. We have another example of what makes Christmas magical for another wonderful person in our life. Eric, cue Christmas clip number 2. And let's hear what this beautiful little soul has to say as we continue exploring what it is for us as individuals that makes this holiday season so incredible.
I'd have to say my favorite part of Christmas, or at least the Christmas season, would probably be Christmas Eve, actually, rather than Christmas, because we've always had like a Christmas Eve party, and we open like Christmas pajamas and have like a little runway thing and watch Christmas movies. And I just like it because of like this, we play games, we watch movies, and I feel like the spirit of Christmas is more there for my family, at least for me, on Christmas Eve than it is on actual Christmas Day. And while Christmas Day is amazing, obviously, I just really love the energy that my family creates on Christmas Eve, and then putting that forward into Christmas Day the next day. I always go to bed in such a good mood and wake up super, super happy and excited for Christmas. But I've always loved snuggling up on the couch with my family and just, watching Christmas movies and celebrating being together. And I've always loved that since I was a little girl. It's always been my favorite thing. And then everyone snuggles up in there. Everyone gets in their Christmas PJs. They all change, and then we eat like a nice warm dinner, and usually go play a game or two after we do like our PJ runway. And then we usually snuggle up and watch some Christmas movies. And I really love it because my family's all together, and it just creates such a good energy. And yeah, I'd say that's probably my favorite aspect of it. So.
So after hearing these two shares and encouraging you to explore for yourself, what is it about Christmas that makes us feel the way that we feel? Why do we say this is the most wonderful time of the year? And why is a general consensus such a high percentage of our population gets excited about Christmas?
Or I would say, let's say even you don't, maybe you have a little bit of the Scrooge in you, a little cross and cry. I could say I might err on that, but there seems to be an extra boost that even will help us, even some of us that maybe are not quite as excited, to kind of get, okay, you're right. There is that kind of that consensus, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does it play on? As a human being, we have 5 senses, and those senses are sight, sound, taste, touch.
Taste?
Taste. Did I say that? Sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. And experiencing several of these at once creates a delightful, memorable sensation. And so in our shares that we've just explored here, you mentioned now, or you can maybe see that they're talking about those 5 senses being exaggerated, right? So the sights of the lights, the sound of music, Samara mentioned the runway, PJ runway, where we get this music bumping and everybody gets to express themselves as they adorn their new Christmas pajamas. And we all get to cheer them on. And there's an MC that hoops and hollers, and we all get to just take in this moment, right? Where we're together and we're laughing and the music is taking us places. And what about the touch, the snuggling up on the couch, right? The smell of the hot chocolate, the being together for the parties.
The feeling of the warm food,
Yeah, the sound of laughter, right? Everybody having a really good time. These are the experiences that help us create those memorable sensations that we equate with holidays. And I'm pointing here to not only give homage to those and write these down as you discover them for yourselves, but to realize that as we become aware of these types of things, we can create them anytime. But Tom already pointed to the consensus, right? There's a consensus in our communities. There's a consensus in our families that this is a special time of year where we give ourselves the permission and the allowance to do some of these things that we don't do all the time. So let's listen to Christmas clip number 3 as we kind of start to further dive into what it is that makes this time of year so special, so that not only can we be grateful for it and appreciate it, but we can also learn and discover how it is we can create new traditions and bring it into our lives more often than just in December.
My favorite childhood memory of Christmas has to be when I was about 7. My mom would always make us sit down and write letters to Santa, and then she would mail them for us. I remember that year I asked Santa for a record player, and I really, really wanted this new album by Donny Osmond. And that was all I asked for. So, wrote our letters, Mom mailed them, and Christmas morning came. There were 5 girls and 1 boy in my family. So, my parents didn't have a lot of money, but my mom always made sure that we had what we needed, and she made Christmas really, really special for us. So Christmas morning, we get up and we go out into the living room and we take turns opening gifts. And it's finally my turn. I've been sitting there waiting, watching 4 go before me. And I open this box and it's a record player. And I was so excited. Then my next gift I opened was the Donny Osmond album that I had asked for. And I was in heaven. Pretty sure I spent Christmas Day in my room listening to that record over and over again. But it just makes me think about my mom and how much she loved us and made sure that we felt special on Christmas, no matter how much money we had or didn't have. Everybody got their chance to be special. So that's my favorite Christmas memory, is that album that I still have. Don't have the record player, but I still have the album, and I still love Donny Osmond. So Merry Christmas, Tom and Stacy. Love you guys.
She still has the Donny Osmond album. Babe, did you like Donny Osmond?
No, I don't think he was my favorite.
Yeah,
I mean, I
think he
knew
was
of
more
him.
of a girl heartthrob back in the day. And being from Utah, where he was from, I
Right,
mean, that was like a big, big deal,
Mhm.
right? It was so cool to be from the same hometown that Donny Osmond and Marie were from,
Right.
especially when the show was really big. But, you know, this starts to highlight to feeling special, to feeling like somebody listened to what it is you wanted for Christmas and actually served it up, right? But what is one of your favorite Christmas memories, babe? Oh, long silence, long pause.
Well, I believe I proposed to you.
Well, that's
not
true.
on Christmas Day, but right around Christmas.
You did in the
Yeah.
cathedral,
Right,
you
in
got
San
down on
Francisco.
one knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a wonderful memory. That surprises me. I didn't expect you to go there.
Well, you know, just when you think you got me all figured out, Mrs. Bartley.
I
know.
agree. I have to be honest. I love our parties in a box. I love it when our family all gets together. That truly is my happy place. For me, that's what Christmas is all about. To you know, be in a place of play and expression, and the food and the fun and the music. It all comes out on Christmas Eve. It is just a very rambunctious party where we get to really celebrate being together and just having a good deal of fun. That's kind of the focus, is anything that we can do to make it fun and surprising and novel is kind of where we go there. And that makes it special for everyone because, you know, as we will explore in a minute, these are the things that make moments count, moments that matter. Now, change is also a part of Christmas, right? We all are maybe embarking on some changes from year to year. And I want you to hear me say that that's completely normal. We might carry on the same traditions, but the circumstances and the people that we share them with changes, or maybe the people that we share them with change, or maybe the traditions themselves need to evolve and change and transform into something different. And this is part of life, year to year to year to year, as we now look at what it is for you that brings those incredible feelings of right, our sensory into play. What is it about this time of year that you enjoy and that you love so much? And then we start to look at noticing how it changes and evolves year over year over year over year. And definitely since Tom and I have come together and we've blended, you know, our 8 kids and 13 grandkids together, there has been a tremendous amount of taking some of your traditions, babe, and some of my traditions and making it a hybrid for our new now found family a decade later. And in the beginning, it was a little challenging and bumpy. We weren't quite sure how that was going to happen. But as we worked with it, right, and continue to reach for the things that were most important to us, that matter to us most about the holidays and from our previous traditions, we were able to bring those together and create a hybrid for how it is we go forward. And we've instilled new traditions in each other's families because of that, which I think is a wonderful thing to highlight here, that it doesn't have to be one way or the other, that these can come together in a beautiful combination that you couldn't reach otherwise. And I think it's very important to understand that change is a part of the deal. So this brings me to Christmas clip share number 4. And this is all about experiencing and starting to notice some of the changes year over year. So now that you've had the experience of maybe hopefully jogging your memory about Christmas and some of those things that really warm your heart about the season based on our 5 senses, let's start exploring some of the changes that happened, or what we would say in our work, some of the contrasted experiences about what works for you and what doesn't, what you're familiar with and what you're not, as we look at bringing in some of the new.
Growing up, I really had 2 experiences of Christmas as a child. The first part of my life, living with my dad, we would get up on Christmas morning and open our presents, play for what felt like a half a heartbeat. We had no time to play. And I'd scoop up my favorite gift to take to my cousin's house, and we would go over to my cousins, my aunt and uncle, Janice and Bob, and I would show them my present, and we would play with them for the day and have a family meal, and we would get home late. Then when I got older, moved in with my aunt, and she had a big family, where I came from a small family, and so the dynamics were different. There was huge family parties and a dinner the night before full of just family and kids running around and people making one another feel special. I remember having a special dinner with all of the girls that we got to go to, that was, everyone would dress up fancy and we'd go to this historic, I can't remember the name of it, historic Wheeler, or maybe not. Anyways, and it was just a fancy meal, and that felt special. And then on Christmas morning, when we'd wake up, we'd get to all open up our presents. And then after we opened our presents, we would just sit around and watch silly movies and paint toenails and just enjoy one another's company with all of our toys all day long. We didn't have to go anywhere or rush off to anything. And that was just a really amazing experience. When I was a younger girl, before I moved in with my aunt, those Christmases were magical too. That's when I still believed in Santa Claus. And I remember one Christmas in particular coming out. I was upstairs and we had a basement. And I came out to where the stairs were and I heard noise downstairs and thought it must be Santa. And instead, my older brother poked his head out and tried to rush me back to bed, and apparently he had been playing Santa with my dad for a while. And that's the moment that I realized that the story just wasn't what I thought it was. So those are just a few of my experiences from Christmas as a child.
For those of you listening, I hope that you're not listening with small children. I forgot to give you the warning on the front side of clip number 4 and 5. We want to respect and honor the ho-ho man from the North Pole. So if you're listening to this with small children, I guess it's a little behind the 8 ball, but number 5 is going to be like that as well. So let's honor and respect that. And if by chance you have small children, this may not be something that you want to play with them, and come back and continue it later. Because we want to respect and honor that you have small children around, and we want to contribute to the magic of Christmas there as well, and not be the person that kind of goes, what did they just say? So if that's the case for you, you can pause this and come back to it in just a moment. But as we continue this exploration, the thing that I want to highlight about this share in clip 4 is that Christmas is change. And through that place, we get to learn and discover what it is that makes them magical for us and get excited about how we want to make them magical for the people that we love and adore in our families as we grow forward. And that's important, right? Because these are things that we get to share and extend to others about what lights us up. And this is how traditions are born. I just want to point this out, that traditions happen because this is something that's fundamentally important to me or that lights me up. And now I want to share it with you. And then it turns into something that we enjoy as a group. That's certainly how probably our most significant tradition of the PJ Runway fashion show evolved over time. You know, PJs were something that I did as a kid, babe, and my grandma would stitch them and we would wear them and try them on. And that evolved into what it is today with our own grandchildren of now you just don't put them on. You sport them and you express them, and there's an MC and the music and the whole nine yards. And
Well, I was just going to say, and again, everything, if you're listening to us live or closely to live, I mean, we've got a brand new variant that's spreading unbelievably around the world. My point in sharing that is so this may, inspire us and draw on us to create a new tradition, perhaps of not being physically in the same space, but we're going to get into the formula for creating moments that matter. And the formula is the formula. Again, formulas don't matter, may create some or challenge us with some creativity, how we're going to apply the formula. My point there is many of our memories are, and I'm not discounting the power of being belly to belly, if we like to say nothing like that. But again, we're in a new time, so we can take what works for us, apply this framework, and then get some creativity as to how we can create some new moments maybe in this new world that we're living in now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are going to be together, right, to let some of these traditions evolve, it's okay. Sometimes these traditions have to be so finite and locked in a box. And I would challenge you that if that were the case for us, it wouldn't evolve and continue to evolve into the ideas of people wanting to express and contribute into the amazing places that it can take us, right? That's the contribution for all of us being involved in it. And just as, this incredible human being, Jamie, shared with us, she learned a lot from, having the experience with her dad and then living with me, her aunt, and some of the variants that she noticed there, and then how she takes that going forward. That's how we evolve and change over time as adults in human real time. And so that's a beautiful thing to recognize, that there's a lot to be gained from discovering the differences year to year to year about what we love and what's different. And then how do we work with that? And that always takes us to a new something that's possible, recognizing and realizing that whatever it is we enjoyed and that we loved, we created it in the first place. So we can take that and we can transform it and we can bring it forward with ourselves now. We can recreate it in a new way, which is always a very empowering idea to embrace. And there's nobody that's done this better than our last share here today. And this is Christmas clip number 5. And he really highlights all of the incredible benefits that from person to person, year after year, how he too has been able to embrace and appreciate the variety of change that has happened over time in his own very Christmas experience and memories.
When I think about Christmas, there are lots of things that come to mind. And in preparing for this message, what came to mind are firsts. And I want to highlight 3 important first Christmases. First was the first Christmas I spent with my former wife, Deanna. The second, the first Christmas I spent with my wonderful former girlfriend, Carrie. And now the first Christmas that I spent with my beloved fiance, Summer. Now, the first Christmas with Deanna was memorable because she had a dog. And most who know my story know that it was the relationship with this beautiful girl and her wonderful dog, Wally, a Boston Terrier, that set into motion an extraordinary series of events, which included running an incredible sanctuary with this beautiful soul. And having never had children, the first Christmas with Carrie and her 3 magnificent daughters, who are just like their mama, Michelle, Natalie, and Lauren, gave me the experience of being with teenagers and having all that excitement and everything that was involved with that, with anticipation and sharing of meals and joy and hugs and a celebration that went well beyond the actual day. And then finally, the first Christmas 3 years ago that my beloved Summer and I with her 3 babies, much younger, in which there was still the belief in the big fat man, Santa Claus, and putting all the presents together the night before, and then being witness to truly absolute joy when Gracie and Ethan and Bella burst into the room. So my heart is filled with memories. I wish everybody a happy holiday, an extraordinary new year, giving thanks in advance that 2022 is going to rock it.
Yeah. So as we talk about the changes over time, because the reality that maybe we don't like so much as human beings is that year over year, these magical moments are going to change. How we experience them, they're going to change. And I have found for myself personally, the more we can embrace this, the easier and more joyful it becomes as I continue to focus on what it is that lights me up in my senses, what it is I want to create more of from the experiences that I've had, and how it is I want to continue to ensure that myself and the people that I love have that magic present in our lives more often than not just at holiday, which is a wonderful time to like dive in and reset, kind of like the new year is a great time to reset. But to reset what it is that lights us up and those things that make life and time with our people that we love significant and magical, this is a ripe opportunity for us to explore the change and to explore that sensory that makes it all possible.
Absolutely. And the beautiful thing is, guess what? I love frameworks, if you will. And there is a framework. We're going to step into that now. And I think you could see some similarities amongst the 5 different audio clips, or at least the last 3. Again, not to discount at all the first 2, but that they were sharing things, their memories, but in distinct different places along the journey. So not to discount, people that we have significant memories with, but taking this things that are most impactful around these experiences and then knowing how to recreate them kind of doesn't matter what the external conditions are, or maybe the people that we're sharing it, you know what I mean? But yet, what is that recipe to where we know we can have? And it's a wonderful word. The acronym is EPIC, EPIC. And this is from a incredible book that I would encourage every one of you to read. And it's called The Power of Moments by 2 brothers, Chip and Dan Heath.
Mm-hmm. And so this highlights how it is we as human beings in scientific researched ways, how it is we experience the things that we do that light our hearts up, that make us feel like, oh, wow, this is one of those moments. And as I like to say, earmark the pages of our lives. Oh, this is something I want to remember. This is something that I want to come back to. This was something that was significant for me. And in that acronym, as we explore our sensory and we explore what it is that works for us and doesn't year over year over year, this gives us, believe it or not, the recipe for us to create more moments that matter in our lives year round. And so as we go through this, we're going to apply it to, yes, the holiday season. We're going to celebrate every wonderful little delightful moment of it, because there's nothing better to use as a background contrast than where we are as far as the holiday season. And then hopefully this will empower you to realize that you can create these kind of moments in July. It doesn't have to be December. It can be in July instead. And as Tom already said, it's EPIC. That's the acronym, EPIC. And we're going to begin with the E. And the E is and stands for elevate. Moments of elevation, they are experiences that rise above the day-to-day routine. These are the moments that cause us to feel engaged and joyful and amazed and motivated. So I want you to think of, yes, Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve in regards to some of the shares that we've heard. I want you to also think of like weddings and birthday parties and surprise parties and road trips. All of those things that come out of the blue that cause us to go, okay, I'm highly alert. I'm highly aware. And guess what? Those senses are firing off. My sense of sight, my sense of smell, my sense of touch, my sense of taste. It's all being incorporated in this moment. And I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next.
Absolutely. I would say, the recipe is the boost of the sensory. Do something different, novel, provide some strategic surprise. I know that's not an oxymoron. There can be a strategery to how you surprise. They are easy to delay, and typically they're unreasonable, but create the moments we remember. We like to say there's nothing convenient about, and they say this in the book, about creating moments that matter. They're not convenient. They're
No.
not.
In fact, elevating moments, right? The E, they're always unreasonable. And so let's just take a little trip down memory lane about the unreasonable things that we do this time of year. Okay. So hanging Christmas lights in my tree and spending, 20 hours doing it is unreasonable. Like there is nothing reasonable about that. And yet, as I look at my tree and all of its beautiful lights on my tree and on my house, it gives me that feeling of, oh, I'm so happy. This lights me up. Or flying from coast to coast for a 6-hour, holiday gathering is not reasonable. But yet when it happens, right, it makes all the difference in the world. Shopping and finding the something that some child that you love and adore, or some lover that you love and adore has requested, and you you shop for it and you spend, 20 hours doing it. That is unreasonable.
Or perhaps you're making something that this person, it's going to be very, very significant when he or she receives it. So yeah, I mean, many of us don't have a whole lot of extra time. Again, it's not reasonable, probably not convenient, but the impact and the epic moment it's going to create in that person's life.
Mm-hmm. So E is elevate. It's not going to be reasonable, but it's going to be something that stimulates your senses, and it's going to be outside of the reasonable. It's going to be novel, and it's going to create a surprise, which is incredible. That's what creates an elevated moment. The next letter is P. So an epic, E is elevate. The P is pride.
Pride.
Moments of pride happen when we validate ourselves and or acknowledge others. That's incredible, because just as I had mentioned, when I book that plane ticket and I show up for Christmas dinner, that causes the people that love me the most to know that I matters to me, that I'm willing to take the trip across the country to show up and be with you. It matters. It creates a sense of pride. So the recipe for pride is recognizing and not only appreciating others, but appreciating yourself for what it is you're willing to do to extend that love and appreciation to the people that you care about most. That's so important. And also to make sure that you recognize and appreciate the people that you love the most. This is where we get to share meaningful experiences and celebrate milestones. So what is it we do when we come together at Christmas time? We share meaningful moments.
I can remember, just came to me that my mom was celebrating a milestone. I lived in California. I grew up out east, and I chose to fly back, surprising my mom and showing up on this particular day of this milestone. And I will too. I mean, I can go right there now. And the sheer, first, the disbelief that she was looking at me in IRL, in real life. And then what I knew it meant to her was priceless.
Yeah.
Literally priceless.
It really is. When we see people show up for us like that, it makes us feel pride that they care about us, that they love us, that we matter, right? That there's something significant about that. So all of you who are preparing to get on a plane and go home for the holidays, God bless you, even though it may not be reasonable and convenient. When you show up in those special places, you are letting the people that you love the most know that they matter to you. And that creates a sense of pride. So as we elevate now with the E, and we understand now what P is for pride, we're going to move into the next one, which is I, and that is insights.
Insight.
Insights are moments that provide us with realizations and transformation. They come when we look at the experiences of our lives, and whether good or bad, we learn something from it, much like shares 3 and 4 that we've shared with you today. Embracing the change and embracing what we call the contrast in our own lives, it is in these moments that we can gain insight into our lives, into the people that we love, and in regards to the moments that we want to create going forward. It's when we allow ourselves to stretch a bit also. And stretching means I'm just outside my comfort zone, not all the way outside of my comfort zone, but just a touch. It's there that we can learn and that we can grow, not in the pursuit of ultimate success, but what I like to say, in the pursuit of discovery and learning, which will come from stretching and making messes and valuing that change year over year that may come in our lives. How does this relate to Christmas? Well, when we expect things to be the same when we come home for Christmas, sometimes we create the same when we come home for Christmas. And in looking at what works for us and doesn't, we recognize, just as Tom as I said, as we are recreating Christmas again and again and again, and the things that make us appreciate these things, we can take what works and we can leave behind what doesn't. And I want to empower you with that. That's called insight based on the experiences that I have in my own personal life. And you have the power to do that if we will but take a moment and view the insight, which is what we encourage you to do. What works? What doesn't? Where do I want to go from here? What do I want to recreate in my life? And what do I feel like I need to let go of now? Those are important aspects of insight. And again, it's not about stretching to the point where I'm outside of my total comfort zone, but that I'm stretching beyond what I might think is possible for me. Because there is where I will learn and I will discover new things and new moments that matter, new ideas, new creativity, new traditions, as you and I have created with inside of our own family. Right? If I was rigid and wouldn't allow that to be pliable, or you were too, right? I'm having a funny memory where we were so concerned about how this was going to translate on the very first Christmas that we came together. We decided to split it up and decisively divide it in two, where my kids would come and then we would send my kids home and then you would have your family come in. And that was the best idea we had at the time, only to realize in year two that that was ridiculous for us, that wasn't something that we needed to do, and that we could start incorporating some of these traditions and cross-pollinating them in a way that made them all richer for everyone. That was a wonderful discovery of insight for us. And then the last one, so E, elevate, P, pride, I, insight, so important for us to create moments that matter. And the last one that the Heath brothers, as part of their acronym, highlight is connection. And geez, is that not appropriate for this time of year? Connection are moments that bond us with others, and we feel warmth and unity and empathy for the people that we are surrounded by. We've had some beautiful epic shares about this, right, with the people that have shared with us already. But to create connection, I want you to know that connection is created when we share meaning with each other, when we share our struggles with each other, when we respond to the needs and the desires of others, and when this responsiveness is coupled with openness, it leads us to intimacy, deep intimacy that we share together. This is the give and receive of relationships, whether we're talking about Christmas or we're talking about our next goals or we're talking about what it is we're going to co-create. It's two incredible human beings that are trying to go in a different direction. It is the give and receive of love that makes all the difference in the world. This is also what gives us the ability to achieve mutual understanding, caring, and appreciation for each other. So this give and receive is incredibly important. And this connection that we experience with another human being, well, simply it happens when I share a little piece of me with you and you share a little piece of you with me.
And I would just, remind you that you can take this, epic EPIC as we step into the, really the prime holiday season, if you will, over these next week or so. And, where might you be able to elevate? Where might you be able to bring some, pride and some insight and connection into these experiences that are very significant, and maybe we'll give you a new way to look at it, a new inspiration, a new sense of momentum and invigoration in creating these. Because, for those of us that lean a little left, myself included, maybe a little more on the logical side of life, they're not logical places for us to go. It's all bringing to the sensory, the experiential, the feeling, the emotional part. And that's really the sweet place where, think about all of our shares, we're all in that realm of our experience.
Absolutely. So intentionally creating moments that matter, elevate, pride, insight, connection. These are the places where we can earmark the pages of our lives. And what if we were to just strive as the year unfolds to create one a month using these principles and these recipes? They won't come about accidentally, I promise you. They're all intentionally created, and they will not be convenient and they will not be reasonable. But nonetheless, these are the moments that make living come alive. These are the moments that we will look back on as we're old and we're wondering, hey, did I matter? Was this significant? And as I hear the people that I love the most in my whole life share, I realize that some of these things that I would deem insignificant are actually very profoundly important. And so look at the things that light up your senses, your sight, your sound, your touch, your smell, right? Your taste. These are the things as a human being that we experience life through. And when it comes to our relationships, looking at the contrast of that change and embracing it and knowing that it's going to be a part of life, and that as we look at these, we will gain incredible insights in regards to how it is we need to go forward. They're not going to be reasonable. They're not going to be convenient, but nonetheless, they are going to help us come alive. As we wrap up this conversation today, I received an incredible poem by a person who has been a guest on our show, Christian Della Huerta. He writes The Power of the Soul. And he had this to say, and it was so touching to me, right, as a part of this holiday season, that I really wanted to leave you with this poem as we wrapped up our conversation today, and letting you know that you too can create epic moments in your life any old time you want to. Yes, celebrate him during the season. It's easiest now than ever. But as we go forward in our lives, remember that you can create them any old time that you want to. And here's what Christian had to say about this. Whatever holiday you celebrate, whatever brings you joy, whatever turns on your spirit, whatever your eyes find beautiful, whatever makes your heart leap, whatever sparks a sense of awe in you, whatever fills you with purpose, whatever you find meaningful, whatever sets your soul at ease, whatever evokes deep peace in you, whatever erases you into finding connection and belonging into others, and it's with ease, whatever helps you remember who you are, whatever sets you free. May this be yours this holiday season. And throughout the coming year is our wish and our hope for you. Happy holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy holidays. We'll take a quick break and we will come back and bring some fun right into your holiday experience, just like we do every week. We'll be right back.
Hey, babe, did you know that the average couple spends only 2 hours a day with each other? And the majority of that time is spent eating, watching TV, and surfing social media rather than connecting with each other. And if children are involved, my gosh, it's even less time than that.
I know, babe. That's why you created our conversation cards for connection, because they're the perfect conversation starter. So the next time you're sitting on the couch, rather than turning on the TV or grabbing your phone, pull out a card and get ready for some good old-fashioned laughter and love and connection.
Yeah, you can get your cards at stacybartley.com.
Giving local voices a chance to shine. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back inside the Love Shack. We are going to step right into our Happy Holidays giveaway, if you will.
Yeah, and through this month of December, we've been giving away, our connection cards. We mentioned them.
If you're watching right now, you can see them. If you're listening, you can go to our website. We're showing a box of our 2.0 version of our brand new conversation.
And we're going to have Tom pull a card just so we can give a demonstration on how they work. And Tom's going to pull a card right now, and he's going to ask me a question.
Oh, isn't this wonderful? Do you believe love can last forever?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Absolutely. I believe love does last forever. Now, whether that's with the same person or that can be with multiple persons, you know what? I don't know. I don't have a position on that. You find your own path, but the experience of love does and can last forever as long as we make that an integral part of our life, using what we just shared, using the epic framework, if you will.
And I do believe that if we had the skills and the know-how and the understanding about how love works and the skills that are necessary in order to make that happen, I do believe that we are empowered then and only then to have love that lasts forever. So yeah, I do believe that love can last forever.
But I think what many of us go to with that question initially is it with the same person? It may be, you know what? But we say, look, whatever works for you. The only rules that apply are the rules between you and the people or peoples involved.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
So here's the
So
deal.
who won?
Well, you know what? Wait a minute.
I'm
Relationships
sorry.
are hard. We know,
Okay,
right?
yes.
And you love your partner, but it can be difficult to stay connected when you're busy with life and work and kids, especially this time of year. And we all know that relationships need attention to thrive, but we often don't know what to say or how to make the first move. So this is where the conversation cards for connection come in. It's a fun way for couples of any age or stage in their relationship to have meaningful conversations without the awkwardness of not knowing what to talk about. They help you connect by asking questions that encourage open communication while making it easy for both partners to contribute equally. It's like having an instant couples counselor or Tom and I sitting on your couch whenever you need it. So these cards were absolutely created because those were the things that couples we were working with would say. Yeah, okay. I get what you're talking about here, Tom and Stacy, but
I don't know what to talk about.
And so, yeah. And as we pull these cards, I want you to realize and understand that everybody has their point of view and perspective. And as we share the questions or your answers to these questions on these cards, it gives us a little window perspective into the person that we love the most. Right. So I encourage you to get some conversation cards for yourself in your home and in your relationship, because it's going to help open up that communication that oftentimes get broken down as things continue to degrade in our relationship.
So we have a winner.
We're going to give a box away today, and we're going to give a box away to the people who are on our fun list. And we're going to ask our incredible engineer extraordinaire, Eric, to choose a number between 1 and 100. Eric, what's your number?
Okay, let me think real quick. How about in honor of Christmas Eve tomorrow, we'll do 24.
24.
I love it. So number 24 is this is a challenging one for me, so I'm going to spell it. It's pepperari. Is that Italian?
But we won't give the pepperari. We'll reach out to you.
Yeah, it's pepperari. 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 And she's at Hotmail. I will give you that part.
Well, honey, you just gave it away.
Well, no, because they don't know her name. But we'll reach out to you and say, congratulations, you have just won a box of our incredible conversation cards that you too can use in your life. Right?
Yes.
So awesome.
Get on the fun list. Each week we, you know what, we share tips and fun. And typically in a normal month, it's the first Thursday of every month we have a giveaway. So there you
absolutely.
go. So now we're stepping into the last part of our show as we land this episode. Can you feel it? What are we feeling today, Mrs. Bartley?
So you're done with fun? There's nothing else you
We're
want to
done
say
with
about
fun
it?
because I'm watching the clock and I am known as radar in our relationship. So we've got to move on, ladies and gentlemen. This is live and this is real. And we only have a few more minutes before we got to say bye-bye.
Well, okay. So here's the thing. We've been talking about sensory. We've been talking about how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds, how it smells, how it tastes. We've also been talking a lot about looking for those insights and the contrast of our experiences as we step into these holidays, like the full throttle holiday experience. These are incredible places for you to keep an eye out for what it is that moves you, what it is that makes a difference in your life, what it is that creates fun and delight in your own heart and in your own self. And there's nothing that does that better than music, in my opinion. And so that's why every single week and every single episode that we will do and ever do is there will be a theme song, because it helps us to feel. It helps us step out of our logic and just put on our feeling hat for a moment. And this week's song is going to be Frank Sinatra's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. I thought that was so appropriate. And as he sings, have yourself a merry little Christmas.
We are dating ourselves.
Guess what?
But Frank has
is,
an
let your hearts be light.
Yeah, Frank's your grandma. Jane, I miss you and I love you. It reminds me of my grandma. She loved Frank Sinatra.
Oh, my mom loved Frank Sinatra. That's one of my Christmas memories, especially during the holidays. My mom would have his Christmas album playing as we would awake, and she would be vacuuming and cooking and cleaning.
And I just want to point out everything that a song will do for you, it's not going to be in the thinking realm of our who we are, of our being. It's the sensory part, and that's why we do that. So we're bringing that intentionally into the sensory part. I say you get to challenge yourself to listen to the song first and then listen to the episode, because we're going to give you a lot of things to think about and ruminate on as well.
Yeah, check out this week's song along with all the songs from our past episodes by going to our website and clicking on the Love Shack Live playlist. It's a Spotify playlist created each week just for you. So thank you, Frankie. Yes, we truly, truly wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. And may, as we step into these moments that are epic, may we create those moments that matter, that make our hearts light. We also want to give a special thank you to our close friends and families for sharing their Christmas memories with us today.
And if you're having problems, creating some of these epic moments in your life that you're really like, God, I need more of those in my life, in our relationship, please reach out to us. This is what we do. We are honored and privileged to serve, and we will work with you very closely in confidentiality to help you create more epic moments.
Yeah, we're Tom and Stacey Bartley, hosts of Love Shack Live, together with our engineer, Eric Ryder. Thanks for being here.
Merry Christmas.
Spending some of your time with us inside the Love Shack. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks for joining us today in the Love Shack. We hope you came away with something that made your toes tingle. To learn more about everything you heard on today's show, go to staceybartley.com/podcast. Love the show? Help us spread the love by sharing the show with others. Okay, everybody, time to go. We got to close the doors to the Love Shack for this week. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Come back next week, though, and join us for another edition of Love Shack Live with Tom and Stacey Bartley.